I think I posted it to the community.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see here. David, is your audio on?
There we go.
Okay, cool. Yep. So I'm seeing you there. Okay. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So we actually started from scratch though, because Tyler wasn't here last week, and so since my other partner wasn't here, it would have taken just as long to try and get him back up to speed. So just kind of went through again. But we just spent most of the time thinking through the board, an object that makes up the board. So how are you gonna capture all of your the information, and thinking through like the precedence of what's displayed if you have multiple items stacked up, and we're kind of designing the logic around how are we gonna choose that what's displayed, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't get too far into it, but we had this idea of like the wall would be the highest precedence, and you have two types of wall. You're either like a horizontal or you're a vertical wall, and so we're going to have a function that basically says get icon, and so if in fact the enum was set to be one of those two walls, then that will be returned, and if it's not, at this point we just had like return the blank space. Furthermore, we would go into then have like an enum for a character, and so like if the character is Pac-Man, then display this Pac-Man icon. And then we were talking about too, like eventually we'd have like a character object, and then we'd have like a Pac-Man and a monster object, and we would have kind of like an invincibility flag on those, such that when the Pac-Man's in normal mode, the monsters are set to invincible, and if the enum was set to both, we would check the invincibility flags of each other, like of both of those characters, and then whichever one was set to be invincible would be the one actually displayed.
Cool.
And then there'd be like the dots and the cherries and some of the other stuff.
How does it compare to what you were doing last week?
Well, last week we actually spent more time on the board and characters. We're focusing on a completely different thing than what we worked on last week. Defining the object that represents a space versus like laying out the board, and then we started working on the characters. So.
I think one thing that David was pointing out is the approach that they were taking last time of like the actual board spaces was maybe more of like a C construct, where Dave's partner was wanting to do it like as if you're writing in C, where you would just have like a single array that expands, and then based on your board size, you would kind of like move portions of the array out.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I think that was
even C is two-dimensional array. Force ran a two-dimensional array.
Yeah, so he was kind of brute forcing it into a two-dimensional array, whereas this time we actually created an object, and then we did basically a 2D array on that object, so that we could then have multiple spaces kind of as in a 2D array.
And that abstraction felt a lot better for our job.
Yeah, it's cool. Any questions, comments for these guys? Thanks for sharing. Who else is on the Hangout? Is that you, Sean? Yeah. David, could you mute your microphone? And Sean, could you unmute? I don't see the little green indicator saying that we're getting your audio. Okay, so now, yeah, it's muted now. So unmute it. Say something. Yeah, okay, well, it's not registered. Maybe register on my laptop. Whatever.
So basically just started with what my last time had a few features talking about dots. So we did dots, and we did a function of counting the dots, and that was good. Tested that. Tested it,
Oh, nice. Oh, were you actually using a? Oh, nice. Like, so it's actually a Ghost UTF-8 character. Oh, that's weak. Okay. I don't know. It's weak. Yeah. That'd be neat. Yeah. Cool. I like that. So let's see here. So what does this test do? Test if Ghost is recognized. So level is Ghost. Ah. So which character is the Ghost here? Okay, so it's not. So when you do the level builder, the Ghost isn't there. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Neat. Right. Yeah. Cool. Good deal. So what was it like? So this was code that Sean and I started last week. What was it like working, like starting fresh in a code base that you hadn't seen before?
Well, I've seen most of
That's right. Yeah, you were looking over my shoulder last week, so you're kind of familiar with it. Okay. Right on. Oh, and it looks like you did some dot stuff up above. No, I was saying like the test up one. Do I have a hat now? Awesome. You're giving me my little pony crown. We're getting punchy. It's getting late. Okay, cool. Yeah, right on. Anyway. Okay. Anything else, Sean, that you want to share? Thanks. Okay, let's see here. Smith, can you unmute and join? Yep. It's over on the left. There's an app, and it's the one with the green thing that looks like a monitor with an arrow on it.
Oh, okay. Screenshot, yeah.
Yeah, that's one that must have. Yeah, I've got some effects going too. I'm using myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still thinking about it?
So we clicked the button.
Did it give you like oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
From the internet, yes.
So this is our Pac-Man class, and the Pac-Man has a direction, and basically what we did is we create a 2D array, and for this first level we just made it a rectangle, and it's filled with dots on the inside, and we can create a Pac-Man object that we can place that object wherever within this array. And right now we're working out, we can show you our tests that we ran to confirm that the matrix is good and that what else did we do?
We also check to make sure
The
that
bounds.
the board knows about the Pac-Man we place in a given location.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And the direction.
yeah. Right now we have like a board that's filled with dots, and then if we want a Pac-Man, and then we were gonna start working on like we thought we'd figure out like all the Pac-Man stuff before we start on the Ghost and try to figure out how to like
To make it move.
the Pac-Man respond to keystrokes. So that's the thing we started on. We haven't really done it much yet. All we've done is like looked at the key. What is it? Key listener.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's an interface that we found online. Basically, we could just, we're writing the methods ourselves. We found through the Stack Overflow the constants or that recognize the arrow keys, basically.
Nice. Yeah, I think that interface comes from the Swing library. So there's a set of libraries for doing thick clients, desktop clients, called Swing. And yeah, and actually it's like as I was saying, it's kind of one of the inspirations for GWT. And it too has like called a key listener, right? And so if you're running inside a Swing application, you can register one of those key listeners on something like a text field, or actually just anything that you can do keyboard focus, like even a button or whatever, and you type there. So I don't think it'll work like on the command line, although maybe you could write something that hooks it up from reading standard in. But I think I mean you're definitely going in the right direction for thinking about like building a GWT app. You want to react to key events that way. Super cool.
Yeah, if you had a key listener you can just have the focus be like on the browser panel or something like this.
Well, yeah, but we can imagine that and you can give elements. I'm pretty sure you can give elements keyboard focus. So when when your page loads into WT, you could have let's say you have a widget that represents the Pac-Man board, and you can just give it keyboard focus. So you type the keys, and then that would be delivered to that widget, which would be it. Yeah. Which is what we're going to see next week. So next week, so I have a little bit more. Well, I'll show you just real quick. Actually, did you want to share anything? Or? No. Okay. Thanks, Smith. Let's see here. Thanks for muting. Okay, so let's get a full screen mode here. Okay, thanks so much for sharing. It's super cool. What did I do? Well, so here's interesting. So Sean and I worked on this week, so now we forked it, right? You've got your own version of it. I continued on by myself, which isn't nearly as fun. I was really quiet and it was hard for me to get sort of motivated and stay focused. What I did a little bit before class was I sort of started adding the logic for moving Pac-Man on my board. So what I did, Sean and I did last week, was we came up with this notion of a level builder, and so you draw the board, and then you interrogate things about it. So it's okay, here I'm testing position, and here's what happens if I start moving up. If I say, hey, I'm facing up, can I move? And the answer is no. So what this is saying, when I'm trapped, I can't move anywhere. This is validating my logic for understanding what is and is not a wall. And really, mine, the approach that I guess Sean and I took, and I'm still taking, is that really anything that's not a space or a dot is a wall, and so you could have anything there. But then I wanted to draw the board nice and easy, so it's easy to read, so no dots there. But then when I author it, I don't want to put in all the dots because I think it's easier to read. But then when I create a real level, I want to put dots in. That's what this test verifies. And then things like Pac-Man leaves behind an empty space. So when he moves, it's all gets filled in dots. But when he moves to the left, there's empty space there. This is just the way I'm thinking about it. I have this very visual way of approaching it. So what I want my test to be is I started out looking like this, and then it looks like this. So now here's the logic for when Pac-Man moves, it's a dot. So there would be a dot there because there's a blank space. Actually, it probably would be easier if I just did. Oops. It would. I think that's a better test right there. So now when we rerun it, this makes it more obvious. Yep, still passes. Yay. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like I didn't make a tremendous amount of progress with this, but because I don't have ghosts and stuff yet, but maybe I can reuse a bunch of the logic that I've added for Pac-Man to handle the ghost movements and stuff like that. Where am I going with this? So next week, instead of having everybody pair program, I thought I would do some live coding. Again, just me up here writing a GBT application on top of this Pac-Man engine. So, and I think I want you guys to start the project this week, and I think that'll be insightful, and then we'll do some live GWT coding next week, and that'll be bring your questions, and then I think you'll see as I'm doing things where how you can apply some of these things about adding key listeners and having display logic and stuff like that for the Pac-Man kata. And we'll see how it goes. Cool. Hey, any questions before we adjourn? Nope. If not, thank you very much for coming tonight. Thanks for staying, those of you who stayed. And we'll see you next week.